This is the first video of the series. It's basically introduction to R and also RStudio. So let's move on. Now, what is RStudio? Well, RStudio is an interface for R. You do not need RStudio for R, but nice to have because it makes things easier. So basically, it's a collection of 4 rooms, 4 windows. Room 1 is where you write your program. You simply type in what you want to do. It doesn't do anything. You just type it in. You could very well bring a code and paste in there, cut and paste. You send these instructions, these program lines to room 2, where it gets executed. The room 2 is the brain. It does things. In room 3 is your basically record book, your accounting. You know what variables you have, what tables you have, what are the values, what you have done, the history. And room 4 is your showcase, your storage. You keep your files here. You can plot things here. You want some help, it shows up there. So a bunch of these things. Room 1 or window 1 is called source. As we discussed, in source, you write the program. And room 2, window 2 is console. That's where program gets executed. All these 4 walls are movable. You can move in any way you want to. And now let's go to the real thing. To actually do in RStudio, write an R program. So now we are in RStudio. We have these 4 windows, window 1, window 2, window 3, window 4. So first of all, let's go to Tools, Global Options, and change the looks of it. So I'm going to basically change the font size to 16, and then the one I like is Cobalt, the best one, Cobalt here, and apply. Okay, and there we are. That's how it looks. I like this way. So let's do our first programming, and I'm going to copy paste so this way I can save some time. So here we are. We have assigned A 45, B 60, M 620, N is our total of these ones, and D is a vector consisting of these 3 variables and the total of them. Let's now put, let's say, print and D. So now we're going to send these instructions to this guy here in console room. And there are many ways of doing it. You can, for instance, select them all or select individually if you want to and say run. And there we are. Now what you see here is these have been assigned values, and our D becomes 45, 60, 21, 25. And this information now is recorded in the environment here. So what's the value of M right now? 20. Suppose now I come here and change M to 55. Is M 55? No. I want it to be 55. For me to do that, I need to send instructions to here. And I can also use Alt Enter. So let's do Alt and Enter. And there comes M55. And guess what in environment? M is 55. Now you might say, well, the total is wrong now. This one is supposed to be adding A plus B plus M. 45 plus 60 plus 55 is not 125. But the thing is that we changed M after we did the total. So now if I run again this N, what will happen now? When I run again N, the computer is going to go and pick up 45, 60, and 55. So even this is our records. This is what we have right now. If I run N right now here and just say run or Alt Enter, you will see this one became, and N becomes 160 now. But we haven't printed it yet. We simply said my N is A plus B plus M. It became there. What actual N that we are going to see here? You can just simply type in N and again Alt Enter, 160. So this is what you see. This is what it keeps track of. Okay. So this is basically what we have. It's very simple assignment and how things work. Now let's plot. A simple plot just to get things going. Right now, we don't really care much about plotting or anything else, just to get introduced to this R business. So to plot, I can simply say plot. And I can plot, for instance, the vector D. So this is a D. Now I can decide what kind of plot I want to make it. I can say the type equal to and L. This is L in English language. Could be 1, could be I, could be who knows what. But it's L. L means line basically. So when I run it, Alt Enter again, there is our line plot. This value, that value, this value connected to the line. And if I want, now I can increase the size of it like this or decrease the size of it. Now, suppose I want to draw a histogram, vertical lines or vertical blocks. I can just make it here H. Again, run. And now we got 4 lines. 1, 2, well, this kind of small line here. So to keep the things clean and clear, I'm just simply going to delete all of this stuff there. So we can just start moving. So what you can do really is in R, for instance, here you come in and there's a sweeper here. Simply say, clean it, it's all cleaned. You can, for instance, just go and delete all of that stuff there. Gone. Now, these ones are going to stay there unless you remove them. So there's another command called rm remove from memory. And let's say list equal to ls. This will clean up everything. Run it, Alt Enter, and it's gone. And we can move the plot here. So we're back to our basic screen. Okay, so now let's do something a bit different. What we're going to do now is create 2 vectors. Okay, let's suppose I went shopping and I bought fruits and veggies, fruits. Just call it F1. F1 and vector. How many did I get? I got 6 pounds of one item, 3 of another fruit, 5 of another one, and 7 of my favorite bananas. Okay. I had to pay money. So P1 price. See again, there's the price per pound. So this was $2 a pound, $5 a pound, $3 a pound, and $4 a pound. 2 vectors of 4 size each. Okay. Now I can run it and tell my console guy what I did. Run it. There we are. F1 and P1. The records knows and console guys knows. Now suppose I want to find out how much I paid for each item. For that you can simply do F1 times P1. Alt Enter. There we are. 12 for the first item, $20 for the second item, 15 for the third, and 28 for the fourth item. So that's it. Okay. Now, one thing I did not mention was comments. Now, for instance, this F1, P1, if you know Excel, this is just like your sum product. So I can actually put a comment here. Sum product in Excel. And here's the key, comment, hashtag. And this can be up here. Let's put a comment here. let's you can put here work with vectors. So you should put comment as much as possible. Keeps things clean, easier to organize. Okay. So how much I paid total for these fruits? Which means total of these ones. And that you can do simply sum of F1 times P1. Run 75. Now suppose you paid 10% tax on these ones. Okay. How much you paid for? But this guy wants to know how much we paid total. So what this guy can do simply is 75 times 1.10. 10% tax, 82.5. So really, you do not need to type anything here. You can do things right here if you want to. But it's not a good idea because you don't have editing power here, too much of it. Here I can go, for instance, and make this one as my Z1, another variable, make changes. So I can run it again, run, and there's my Z1 variable, this one there. I can say sum Z1 became 75. You cannot do these things here. I cannot go here, for instance, back here and try to type something there. Doesn't work that there. So you want to do something here. This is like a text file, copy, paste, etc. Now let's do something more interesting. Suppose you want to do monthly sales for 12 months and also months from 1 through 12. So I can create my month M1 as a vector C 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on and so forth. Well, it's not a smart idea because what if suppose I want to do 100 months? Am I going to sit and type 100 times? No. Instead, you can create a sequence. And 1 through 12. If I run it, you got 1 through 12 here. In fact, I didn't have to type SEQ here. You could just simply do 1 through 12. Now let's create sales. I'm just going to type in some numbers. So here I've created some sales figures for 12 months, just random numbers, just like that. Okay. And now if I'm going to run it, we got these ones there. So what's our total sales? That simply will be SUM and S1. There, 505. Now here you can do some more things. For instance, what's our minimum sale, smallest sale? MIN, S1, Alt Enter, 25. How about max? S1, run 60. So you can do main, max, bunch of functions with these ones. So, and you can also get help. For instance, if I say a question mark and MEDIAN, median, there's a help here. What's median? How to use it? All of that stuff there. So if you need any help on some things, you can put a question mark there. Or you can also come here and ask for help here. Many ways of doing it. Or of course, our Google thing is always there. Okay, so now we're going to do some programming, actual programming. Create a loop. And here is the program. Okay. Now, this is more like English language. If you write in R, a couple of things will change here. If you write, suppose in a Python, a couple of things will change. If you write, suppose in a Visual Basic, something will change. but the logic never changes. It will be the same logic. Okay, so now let's actually program the loop here. So I cleaned everything up. So let's first of all run these ones. So we know what the variables are, vectors are right there. Now we're going to create x 0 and we make k, as we discussed, 1. Now the loop. So the loop works out while while k less than equal to 12. Now all the commands we're going to put in the curly brackets. So that's curly bracket right here and there. So first thing I'm going to add increment x by each y becomes x plus s1, and now you're going to put the square brackets k. What it will do is increase x by x plus s1k each time k changes, and k will change here. K becomes now k plus 1. And let's print here x. If everything's okay, it should run. And we should get 505 because that's the total we had earlier from this one. So run and 505. Everything is perfect. Now, as we discussed again earlier in slides, what if you want to add numbers which are 40 or more? For that, we're going to put an if statement right here. If in bracket s1 brackets k greater than equal to 40, then this will take place. Now typically you also want to put them in curly brackets. So right now should be okay without curly bracket because we only got one line. If I run it, it should work fine. Let's see. Run and we got 348. It worked fine. But typically you can put them in curly brackets. This way you know where it ends, where it starts, where it ends. And run it again, you get same thing. Or you could actually even put them, suppose, down here like this. Like this. So you can put everything right here, for instance. If I run it now, again 348. Now suppose I want to see the increment, how it increases. So I can simply put here print x. So what's happening now is that here's the if statement complete. This is the condition and this is the what's going to happen. So only if it's more than 40, you go inside the bracket and do all these things there. So our first 40 number will be right here. So the first will be 40 here. Then k becomes different number and comes 39, which is not more than 40. So this will not get executed. And then 44. So let's run it. We'll get a bunch of statement here, but let's run it. So again, run. As you can see, 40, right? Skip this one. Next is 44. So what's 40 plus 44? 84. 84. Then 84 plus 46 is 130. Plus 50 is 180, and so on and so forth. So this is our first lecture on this topic. The idea was to introduce you to R, RStudio, and do some basic programming stuff, learning about loop and ifs, etc. So for this right now, I'm going to say bye-bye to you all, and we'll see you in the next video.